Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Daily Footy and Other Sports with yours truly Taz, and of course Sean,
And
who's
Sean,
who's not focused at all. Um, yeah, one day he'll get his intro right. But first and foremost, we're actually going to start with an apology, aren't we, Sean?
so the basis of my apology is that Taz has numerously has responded to me that UFC will not go ahead with the event on April the 18th, even after a few days prior that Dana White had confirmed that Justin Gaethje was the selected fighter to replace Khabib to fight Tony Ferguson, in which then they found to use Dana White's private island for the fight. Last night, Dana White has confirmed to ESPN that UFC will not go ahead, and that Khabib was right to not to drop out beforehand. And it's quite, and I owe Taz a big apology because we had a great setup for you guys. We were going to invite Sahel to review each of the fighters as well because with his background in judo and MMA, but we just
We
had
didn't
to
have we didn't
apologize.
have anything set up for everyone. I don't want any of this non-factual information coming out. Um, we might have asked, so hell yes, but we had nothing in place, so don't believe anything.
But it's also interesting that a lot of the rumors, a lot of the around UFC, a lot of the fans were generating a negative response to Khabib's insistence of not even participating, saying it was the fifth time that the Tony Ferguson versus Khabib fight has fallen through. But due to this U-turn that Dana White has come to his senses that it's not good to host this event, it's led to Dana White saying that Khabib's the man, and Khabib is in the position to decide when he can participate and when he should not participate. And he said even Conor McGregor is no longer in that same category. So it's quite fascinating because Dana White is usually seen as the guy that supports Conor, and Conor's quite upset on Instagram as well as usual. So it's a fascinating situation, and maybe it shows that Khabib is the guy that needs to be respected. And as the main thing you want to say, UFC got
I think Dana's
UFC
going
did the
to.
right
I
thing.
think Dana's probably struggled to have complete respect for both these guys after the frankly unforgivable scuffle that went on, after their match. So
That's related to even the bus incident in New York. So
yeah, I mean
there's a lot
that's
of
what I'm saying. I mean,
stories.
I'm not defending either of them. I'm just saying like neither of them have carried themselves really well in the
Mm,
run up, during, and certainly more after that match. So
yeah.
I can't really imagine why Dana White would be thinking, yeah, I can definitely side with this guy more. Um, but no, I mean, we've spoken a little bit about this topic already, so we're not gonna waste too much time. But it's now on video. Sean's apologised for his over optimism,
Yeah. And
and
Tony Ferguson, get some meds. You need some meds. He's training his elbow in one of his training videos. It's insane. Get some meds for your
well, there you
sanity,
go.
please.
Have some paracetamol, Tony Ferguson. Um, we're going to move on very quickly to something going on in Barcelona. You'd think that they're having enough issues as it is at the club, but um, well, we've just heard that 6 senior board members have all resigned from the club with immediate effect. Um, Main reasons for that they're saying is they're not really, the crisis that's going on right now, both worldwide and of course financially, is a real problem, and but perhaps in their eyes, most importantly, they don't see where the club is going, um, and the leadership that it's got at the moment. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I've got quotes here, but I'd like your opinion first before I maybe read out one or two of them.
I think it's just a perfect opportunity to bail out when you can, saying that, oh, because of the crisis, let's leave. We need to help save money for the whole club. Barcelona have been in such disarray for a long time. We've seen it with Neymar being going away, Dani Alves how he left. A lot of ex-players have constantly belittled Barcelona as a team that is mismanaged. We've seen a lot of situations even this season. So Eric Abidal criticizing players without naming any, and which led to a dispute with Lionel Messi. And even furthermore, which was even more controversial, was the situation with the ex-manager Valverde. I don't think he was the right man, but he wasn't doing much wrong with Barcelona, and they led to him before he actually got fired. They did what you guys did with LVG, was pursuing new alternative managerial candidates to take over. After this was during a tournament in Dubai for the Super Copa, in which they lost to quite badly as well to Atletico Madrid in the extra time. It's not extra time, but Atletico Madrid did a comeback, and it led to a situation where it was convenient that Xavi was around, and they wanted Xavi. He is the one club man at the time. Well, he did have a stint in Qatar, but he is the one club man, and he didn't even want to go to Barcelona. That shows how much of a disarray it was, and then they had to go for the last alternative, the expertise manager, and it just shows Barcelona are just having a lot of problems, and I see it as a perfect opportunity for these guys to leave.
I think with Xavi, though, he's a guy that knows the club so well. He understands it. And whatever you think of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for example, and maybe even Frank Lampard, both these guys at least done some management before. You could argue that actually Frank Lampard's probably done the most, management in terms of a competitive league. Ole's not really done well. He's not done well at all at Cardiff. He's done very well at Molde, but different prospect. But Xavi's done this in Qatar.
Yeah.
So that's very, very different. So you could argue that he's a guy that knows the club really well. He hasn't actually got much experience as a manager. Had they been in the same sort of situation maybe about 2-3 years down the line, I bet you he would have said yes, because he would have said, you know what, even if they're in exactly the same predicament they're in right now, he'd have said, well, I've probably got a few more years management in the bank, so why not? I think I can do this. I know what they're about, like Ole's doing, like Frank's doing. These guys know what the club's about, and these guys know what the club needs. Whether they're capable of producing overall as a manager is another question, but knowing what the club is about is such an added bonus, when you're recruiting both for a manager and indeed a player. So that's all it is, really. I mean, Xavi could be an option in a couple of years' time, maybe a better manager become available. But as a manager,
Pochettino,
he's very young.
Pochettino,
well,
he hates Barcelona, Espanyol history.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's an option, but I just can't see him. I don't know. He's the thing is, he's a good manager. I do like him.
You want him at you guys? At you?
No. Honestly, not. I think we had our window and we missed it. And ever since then, the reason I think we keep Ole is because you can't. No. Because why? What if Pochettino was not able to bring the same kinds of players?
Right, that's the.
What if he tries putting his own stamp on things in terms of the players he signs? What if he isn't even granted the players he wants? What Ole's saying is, I need this player because he's going to give me this. He's the right kind of fit. Has he been wrong about any of these guys? No. Every single one of them is a good fit. Every single one of them, certainly as the season's progressed, have started performing. And to be fair, Dan James, he's gone through a big blip, but he was starting to, get it a bit together again. Yeah, before the pandemic hit, he was actually starting to rediscover a little bit of form, and that was a positive. But I mean, come on, you can't have a go at him for that one. He's 21 and he's just come from the championship. So,
but the Barcelona situation, heading back to it, what's more? We're talking about managers like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Frank Lampard. there's one key difference between Chelsea and Barcelona. Chelsea misuse their academy, and they now have a lot of players are going to give the opportunity to because of their transfer ban that they had. Barcelona have shifted radically from a team that would give the players from the Messier Academy
One of the
opportunities.
very best, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
in
probably
order,
rate it in my top 3 academies in the world,
but now they don't.
alongside
Now they
Ajax and United.
don't.
Um,
And now they don't at all. Now they buy players. They've
yeah,
sold the players to Roma
it's
recently.
interesting. Even Real Madrid have got a few players that have made it through their academy and come in, haven't they?
They had Negredo, who he was at Middlesbrough for a while. A lot of players go through Real Madrid's academy, and Barcelona are more of a mirroring image of Real Madrid, and that causes controversy as well. Because what was the Barcelona politically? It's a beautiful story if you're into politics. That Barcelona were the communist side, Real Madrid were the fascist side under the dictatorship at the time. But now these sides are got more similar values. They just overly spend on players. They want Barcelona are set to get Lautaro Martinez and Neymar for ridiculous amounts of money when they've got so much talent within
it's a
their
weird one
whole.
with Barca, though. I'm tempted to almost give them the benefit of the doubt purely because they do, they have got history of actually trying to bring in their own younger players. And
History.
actually, we've got. Let's take a step back. Ansu Fati. Do you know him now? You
He's
know
a
him?
brilliant
Yeah.
player, but they don't.
But he's from
Why
their academy. He's from their
16-year-old?
academy or Barcelona B team,
Yeah,
one or the other. So it's not completely there. It's just maybe it's not that it's completely gone. Maybe they're just not all breaking through the same way. You know, like Barcelona's best bunch of players were
yeah,
like 10 years after, oh, maybe 10 to 15. No, it's about right, actually. Yeah, about 10 to 15 years after the class of 92. Sometimes
yeah.
you just get a special batch. Um,
That's true.
and there have been a couple of players that have sort of come through the academy in recent times, like
Yeah,
Sergio Busquets, sorry.
yeah,
Um, PK was sort of like
Fabregas,
in between those two periods, but
yeah,
he, left there, went to United, didn't actually play much, but is officially a Man U Champions League winner, and then went back
yeah.
to Barcelona. That was a mistake from United. What a player he's become. Um, but it's still there. It's still there, and I think it's the only difference now that I think about it is that there've actually been a few more coming through Real Madrid, Real Madrid's thing. But when you look at their last summer, the window was over for about 2 or 3 days or something, and they'd already had about 5, 6, 7 players
Mm,
through the door, spending stupid money.
exactly.
So they're still not straying away from what they do. So,
I agree.
and that's why I'm so annoyed about what Man City are doing to Phil Foden. That guy's very good, very good. I mean, I know it was a youth World Cup, but you could probably look at around at most of those guys in the team and said, like, how many World Cups have you guys won? Actually, don't go
He's
to the
helped the
Spanish guys because they've
midfield.
won a lot of youth World Cups.
He's helped the midfield radically at Real Madrid because the midfield has been seen as something that has been really weak for a long time with Casemiro, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric being quite weak. But you can even argue that Fatu's situation is he's such a special talent. He was scoring against Inter Milan in the Champions League. He helped Inter to get knocked out of what was the group of death, along with the Ajax, Chelsea.
Ansu Fati.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a fantastic player.
yeah, no, that's the thing. I mean, like, one thing you've got to make sure you don't do is you don't overhype them and you don't overdo it. Which is why the large football fan in me is saying, come on, Greenwood, get him more games. But at the same time, I'm thinking, don't overdo it. Um, and that's why I'm not going to have a go at Dan James so much, because he almost forced himself into the team and he made it impossible to be dropped. And then he got burnt out. Then he got
But
overplayed. So,
having said that, look how Barcelona, how they've been so unsuccessful with big signings. Even Malcolm, a massive signing from Bordeaux. He's one
yeah,
season.
but
Yeah,
transfers, that's the risk you take with transfers. The thing is, there's a difference between buying someone based on potential and buying someone based on already performing, which is why you know, the reason you weren't sure about Bruno Fernandes is you constantly kept on saying, yeah, but he's plays in a league that's not really that competitive. Fair enough, but there are, to be fair, like 3 or 4 big teams, and he was in one of those. But he was 25 when he came, so I think it's actually it might have been his birthday recently. Is he 26 now? Or am I wrong? But he was 25 when he came. You know, he'd been around
Experience
the block.
Italy.
He has experience, and he's at a point in his career where he's actually performing really, really well. So, you know,
He
Malcolm,
rebuilt himself as
Ousmane
well.
Dembele, these are all youngsters. They were 19, 20, 21. There aren't
But it
many
just
players that fall into that bracket that are actually really, really high quality.
But it just shows like the direction that Barcelona had recently been going through. This is even the appeal of Man City, that Man City, the whole structure of Man City was that they got a lot of the executive directors that were at Barcelona and shifted them to Man City. And then the academy, they haven't produced a lot of players, but now they've shifted what they learned from the La Masia for 2008, 2000 and prior, transferred it to Man City. And this is the problem that Barcelona have probably got away from that whole emphasis. And it's going to make the next year elections fascinating. And maybe Barcelona will have a change of presidency sooner or later.
Maybe they
Baltimore is
will.
in a lot of.
Maybe they will. But the thing is, they're not going to go through the same drop that United has, if I'm honest, because them and that's why Premier League is probably the most competitive league in the world, because Barcelona and Real Madrid about 90% of the 95% of the time are going to win the league. You know, forget Rangers' current form, but generally speaking, Rangers or Celtic 95% of the time are going to win the league in Scotland. In England, but Liverpool haven't won the league for over 30 years. So you can't just sort of say, well, 95% time they're gonna. They might now. They might in the next couple of seasons as well. But, you know, you like in the past period of time, you know, there's been United versus Arsenal. And then there was United versus Chelsea. And then it
Yeah.
was United versus Chelsea versus Man City. It was like a three-way thing in the
But
last
wow,
couple
it's
of
just
years.
Chelsea. Let's not add Man United. Oh, wow, it's just Chelsea. Like for 2 years
Not,
on the
not,
three.
not. Yeah,
Mourinho.
but I'm talking about sort of spells, like 4 or 5 year spells, and every single time it was sort of, you know, initially it was United, Arsenal, and then it was United, Chelsea, and then it's been in the last 10 years, it's been United, Chelsea, and City. And
And
that's the thing. There's been a mixture. There's not just two teams that have been in the frame. I mean, United, to their credit, have stuck around, but that's just been Fergie. You just get those kind of managers.
And let me support your point further. Everyone trying to say the Premiership has been quite weak. It has been in terms of teams challenging Liverpool. But look at the top four. Beside Liverpool, the remaining top four teams have won the Premier League in the last 5 years. That's an incredible statistic to allude to. To those that say the Premiership is no longer competitive. Man City, Chelsea, Leicester. That still gives
It's
you
been a
goosebumps.
rubbish. I think it's fair to say it's been a rubbish season. Even before this pandemic hit. I mean, it's become like a really kind of depressing season anyway now
Yeah.
because of what's going on right now. But it's been a rubbish season. And if you look at Liverpool, they've actually not their results and their points tally is very good. But if you look at their performance, if you really analysed it, they've been so much more impressive last season. They just missed out narrowly. That's all it was. They've looked better this season because others have really, really underperformed and let themselves down, including Man City. But we need to move on there. We're really, really late. It was supposed to have started our other topic and final topic like 5 minutes ago. Damn you, Sean. Yeah, it's a really, really quick one, this one. So Floyd Mayweather Jr. has come out and basically said that he will be one of the best trainers in the world and take after his late uncle. Of course, who it's called Roger, wasn't he? I forgot his name for a second. Roger Mayweather, and he was a world champion himself. Let's not forget. What do you think? I mean,
before we talk about this whole situation about Floyd, Roger was a fantastic boxer, and as a coach, he actually was part of Ricky Hatton's training camp before Ricky Hatton had his memorable fight with Floyd Mayweather, perhaps one of the best boxers we ever produced in England. That fight broke Hatton, unfortunately, but even that was a masterclass by Mayweather. And you can talk about if they were able to train someone of Ricky Hatton's class, and then obviously before Pacquiao fight, they broke up, him and Hatton. If they're capable of doing raising top elite fighters, imagine someone of Floyd's caliber, who everyone calls boring to the casual fans, but
Right, so even me. Oh,
but he's
it's because like I appreciate and I highly respect he's probably one of the best tactical fighters in the world. But the reason I was the only fight ever paid for in the box office was the Pac-Man and Mayweather fight. It's because I just love the fact that Pac-Man's literally he's literally like Pac-Man, doesn't he? He's just like
yeah, just,
he just keeps coming at you, and that's why I
yeah.
really wanted to see that side of him. But he was just terrible in that fight, you know. And we
He
were,
wasn't fit.
we,
He was injured.
yeah, I know, but we were robbed of a quality fight in the process. You know,
But you can also
hmm?
even like Pac-Man at 50% would still beat most fighters.
Of
Although,
course, he's still doing it. He's still
yeah,
doing it. He still keeps winning. I think actually, I mean, he recently won a world title again. I don't know if he's still holding it or not, but he has recently done it again. He's just
Bradley,
that
yeah.
good.
But he's
But
been a bit iffy though. I think you can even say that's the factor of Mayweather. He knows. I think that's probably what some people say about Mayweather, and probably why he's such a good tactician. He knows when to fight a boxer. He times it perfectly. Maybe he fought Pacquiao too late. He fought Canelo too early. So a lot of these, or Oscar De La Hoya, he ended his career. So there's a lot of these perceptions of Mayweather, but nevertheless, you have to be able to deliver, and he constantly delivers to an elite level that like no other. He
well,
beat Big Show. Come on, man! He beat
oh
the
come
Big
on,
Show.
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response. Um, I think it also depends on what kind of fighter the fighter wants to be. Because if they're looking at someone like Pacquiao and they're thinking, I want to be the best pound for pound fighter, you know, punch for punch kind of fighter I can possibly be. You're not going to want Mayweather, you know, because he's really
Really?
he's a tactical master. You know,
But
the way I saw Joshua tear apart, you know, just literally slice up Ruiz in the second fight was kind of how I saw Mayweather basically dismantle Pacquiao because they were
yeah, we
just
were excited that night. We were watching it. It was
yeah. But I mean,
exciting.
I was expecting Joshua to do it, but you know, it's happened before, so you know he might very well have lost again. But we all knew that you know if he was fully fit, if he was on it, he was always going to outdo him. And the thing is, Mayweather's an unbelievable fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I just think it depends on what the fighter's looking for as well. If they want to
Mm.
be someone who tactically wants to be the best that they can be, he's your man. If they want to be super aggressive, you know, really constantly at them, he's not your man. Um,
And I
and
think
that's all I can say really about that. So it
you
depends
have
on the
to
kind of
go
fighter.
for Mayweather. You have to go for Mayweather. As you said, everyone thinks boxing is just
Mm.
going fight, fight, fight. It's all tactical. We can even talk about Rocky or Clubber Joe. The Clubber's trying to knock him out. Mr. T is trying to knock out Rocky, but he had a plan. And if you're just going for fighting without a game plan, you're going to lose. That's what happened
Yeah,
with Ruiz. He was so upset at him at his shape. He was going to throw the KFC chicken at him that day as well. It's saying, "Oh, add some more weight. You've been partying all year since your victory."
well, I think we both got our own opinions. I'm going down the depends on the fighter. Sean's like, you got to have him regardless. But on that note, we have overrun again. And we very accurate assessment, isn't it? Sean's simple mind. But yeah,
You sound aggressive.
we are gonna end our episode here for the moment. As ever, guys, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to like the video, and of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe at the bottom. And we will see you guys tomorrow.